This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I am your host, Charlie the Professor. Yes, sir. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits.
Fill me in. Perich.
Welcome, Philip. Welcome back.
Hello.
Oh, goodness. So many things to talk about. Okay, first off, the literally biggest news in fandom today is the dropping of the Kong vs. Godzilla trailer.
It's really cool.
It is really cool. I'm sorry, what? Oh, that. So Tristan's theory is that Godzilla is the bad guy. Who would have thought? And that Mechagodzilla actually is created to combat Godzilla. That actually, no, Godzilla is not a nice person. He is a very dangerous monster who steps on you and burns you with atomic fire. Exactly. The Mechagodzilla was originally created, or at least in some versions, was created to battle Godzilla because Godzilla was dangerous. I actually like Tristan's theory. That sounds like a great idea. I expect that to be the case. In this moment, though, I want to say one of the things I really like about this is there is this idea of Godzilla being controlled. They do mention it in the trailer, which is kind of... It's cool to me because it's like, oh, wow, they remember that hey, wait, don't we have a way to control these mega monsters from the last movie? It's like, yeah, we do. Someone might be using that? So, yeah, probably they will. Tristan, you don't have to raise your hand.
I just found something.
Mm-hmm.
What? Maybe that might be the case. Maybe, like in some versions, aliens are controlling Godzilla.
That could be the case as well. Aliens controlling Godzilla. We know that King Ghidorah is an alien. And so maybe King Ghidorah is the alien sent to control Earth's megafauna, but in fact, once he is defeated, perhaps the aliens who sent King Ghidorah come back and say, no, I guess I'll have to do it myself. As Thanos would say. Things I love in this. First off, okay. Man, Godzilla fanboys are so freaking sensitive. I mean, like, whoa, okay, dude. It's a fictional dragon monster. They don't like the idea that anyone could suggest that Kong could defeat Godzilla.
He might throw Godzilla back in the wild. I kind of find stupid because how could they rapidly defeat Godzilla and throw him back in the wild?
Well, because they're just trying to get him away from human civilization. Yeah, get out of here, Godzilla. Get out of here. Get out of here, you dang lizard. But here's the thing. So, first off, and this, is this idea that I think needs to be internalized. When you're talking about superior firepower versus guerrilla warfare, see what I did there? That's the thing. Yes, Godzilla has nuclear breath, but you know what? Nuclear breath isn't useful. Everyone says, well, he can only defeat Godzilla because he's so big. It's like, no. If King Kong was smaller, he would climb Godzilla and slit his throat. That's the thing.
I think he would. I think if they used the old 2004 King Kong, I think he would have done that, but I don't know if he would slit his throat. He would just beat up Godzilla in the face.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, if you are a small, agile force, it doesn't matter how big and bulky and powerful you are, you may get defeated by someone that can manipulate around you in a way that you can't move easily. Because one thing we can say about Godzilla is he is freaking slow. You know, he is always slow. He is always a slow, plodding beast. He does not have agility.
Godzilla has two other forms of transportation. One is where he curls up in his shrimp, and he has his atomic breath push him, and another one is when he goes on his tail and the drop kick.
Yes, that is something that has occurred in some Godzilla movies. Philip, could you even hear what Tristan just said?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So he's talking about that there are versions of Godzilla that do have other methods of transportation, including rolling and propelling him by his fire breath, or doing the old lean back on your tail and just somehow your tail just moves you forward super fast. Because Toho Studios, man.
I was going to say, almost as if his whole body was made of rubber or something.
Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's Toho Studios. It's like, if we cared about physics, we wouldn't be making films about a giant lizard, now would we? So, at a certain point, they're like, really? So you feel that it was unrealistic when the atomic fire-breathing lizard monster leaned back on his tail and shot forward. Gotcha. Just need to know where the line is. But yeah, so Godzilla has had moments where he could be fast, but even then, only unidirectionally. Whereas King Kong has always been shown to be quick and agile in all directions, to be arboreal, which is weird because really gorillas are not arboreal, generally speaking. But King Kong likes to climb, likes to get on top of things, likes to seize the high ground, as Obi-Wan would say. You know? Exactly. And, you know, Godzilla says, no, from my perspective, mammals are evil. But it doesn't help Godzilla's perspective because still King Kong is going to beat him up.
Yes.
What happened to the guy who he was like, I think he was actually a good guy, but he like made the thing that can kill Godzilla, but he wanted to hide it because what happened?
The guy who made the oxygen bomb?
Yeah, the oxygen destroyer.
Oh, I don't know. He came back I think he was back in the sequel. I'm not sure. They referenced the oxygen bomb or the oxygen destroyer a few times in several versions. But yeah, you know, oxygen bombs, that's bigger than a hydrogen bomb. That was the idea. I don't know. Again, if they cared about physics, they wouldn't be making films about a giant fire-breathing lizard. Toho Studios, your go-to brand for fire-breathing lizards since 1954.
Wait, just a quick question. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Just make the quick questions.
Do you believe that the original American Godzilla, also known as Zilla, exists in this universe?
I don't even know what that is. I know. It was some kind of fan film or something.
No,
I don't know.
It wasn't a fan film. It was actually allowed, and then Toho Studios made fun of him by Godzilla beating him up.
Okay, so apparently Zilla is a version of Godzilla that was made by an American studio. Oh, that's the Iguana Godzilla.
Yes.
Iguana Godzilla, yeah. I actually like Iguana Godzilla, you know, just to look at a lot of... I mean, honestly, as much as I like any Godzilla, it's like, oh, it's a big giant lizard. There's some of them where, like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a very realistic Godzilla. It's like, no! I want to see the zipper. It's like when I watch Hardware Wars. It's like, I want to see the wires. That's half the fun. But there are no zippers in our current thing. And that, I think, is the advantage that King Kong has in this, is, you know, King Kong, he is established as, you know, just a brawler. That is what this species' only purpose is to beat back the dang lizards. Because it ain't your planet no more, lizards. This is Mammal Town. Know your place. So, well, of course there'll be trouble because there's...
Godzilla isn't an ordinary ginormous venomous lizard that they have on Skull Island. Or maybe there are fire-breathing lizards.
Well, to be fair, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the Kong we saw in the 60s, 70s, whenever that was supposed to take place, 50 years ago, they say he is not even in his final form yet. He is still a baby Kong. So that's why he's bigger, that's why he's stronger. And, maybe that's what Skull Island is that there's a lot of little, smaller monsters that the Kongs fight while they're training. It's like, yeah, he's building his weight class, and now he's at Godzilla level, now that Godzilla's acting all the fool, Oh, there is such an interesting thing in this current Legendary Pictures universe. It gets crazy, to say the least. But yeah, that's Godzilla versus Kong, coming to a theater or HBO Max near you.
Did they say when, or it's just 2021?
Just they said when? No, we don't have a release date yet. It's here's what I'm going to tell you. I think a lot more people are interested in this than the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. There's a Batman?
The Batman.
Oh, the Batman? There's a The Batman?
Yeah, with, what's his face? From
yeah. I don't think it's coming out today. Oh, this year? It's supposed to.
Let me see. No, they moved it back to 2022, tell them.
No, that's 2022.
March 4th, 2022.
Yeah. Bat needs more time to... Yeah, I don't even know.
Remember, he had COVID for a while, remember?
I know. I'm just going to say, I'm not here for a gimpy Riddler. That's not the Riddler. I'm sorry. Riddler in a gimp mask isn't the Riddler. The Riddler doesn't wear a mask. It's where you wear the leather face mask with the zippers in it.
I mean, he technically wears a mask. He has like that.
What is that for?
Sometimes he wears a domino mask, yes. But that's not what this is. And it's like they're trying to merge the Black Mask, who I still don't think is that cool of a character. And yeah, I mean they're trying to do something. They're trying to do something with the Riddler, and it's like, why do you want to fix what's not broken? That's the thing. It's like, Gotham gave you a really great Riddler that was like, oh, what if the Riddler was kind of, what if we upped his crazy factor, but still made him a super genius and did this whole thing, and it was all about puzzles and things like that.
And we're already back to Riddler and Penguin. I mean, there's so many rogues that haven't even been in a movie yet.
Yes, like King Tut.
Ventriloquist and Scarface.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's, the thing is, well, first off, DC doesn't take risks.
No.
Which is why DC never has big rewards.
They back down.
Because they say, well, what can we do that is a guaranteed box office smash? And it's like, the closest they ever get is like, well, Wonder Woman isn't as popular. Shazam is not quite as big as Superman. Which is true. I mean, Shazam was like their biggest risk and their biggest reward. And that should have told them something. And it was like, hey, this obscure character that has this weird history and kind of was fun and entertaining, and we had to tell a good story to support him. That kind of made a lot of money. I wonder if there's any lessons we could learn from this. Nah, probably not. Go have Wonder Woman throw a lasso around somebody. Because kids dig lassos. Of truth, yes. That's the thing, is like, I really feel that there could have been a good film. See, that's the thing. I think the Jenkins cut of Wonder Woman 84 might have been a lot better. I don't know, or it might have been even worse. It might have been even more self-indulgent with a lot of... Patty Jenkins is the director of Wonder Woman 1984. So the Jenkins cut is a reference to the Snyder cut, which is the idea that, Snyder didn't get to make his real magnum opus. There's a better film that he just didn't get to release, which is this actual argument about what the film Patty Jenkins wanted to do and the film she had to do. and that that what we got was the silk purse she made from the sow's ear, except it's still made from a sow's ear, so it's still a sow's ears purse.
You're not that excited. You're not that excited about the Snyder.
No, I'm not that excited about the Snyder Cut.
Excited to see how.
I'm excited to see how. Let's say I'm interested. I won't say I'm excited. I will say I'm interested. I'm interested in the Snyder Cut, and it would be I'd be interested in anything that gives us more interesting content. I doubt it. I doubt we'll get more Green Lanterns. I mean, my biggest thing is, why are you going to Darkseid in your first movie? It's like, oh, what do we put the biggest threat in the universe in the first film? That sounds like a plan for a long-term series.
I think it was just like a name drop thing, and it was probably like, oh, look, there he is from afar, so and it's like, oh, well, you're going.
No, apparently Snyder wants him like fighting people.
Well, you got to fill 4 hours.
Well, apparently Steppenwolf was supposed to be Darkseid, and then see that I got like, oh, Steppenwolf. I mean, it was a little lame, but and then they made Darkseid look like Steppenwolf.
Or at least he was supposed to drop more Darkseid references and be like, "Oh, my master, Darkseid," a couple times. But
yeah. Anyway, who Steppenwolf? Yeah. That was one of Darkseid's people. I don't know exactly how it works. The whole New Gods. Kirby had an idea. It was a good idea. People liked it.
Hangers on.
They drove a Doom buggy. That was the whole thing. He wanted to draw Doom buggies. It was the 70s, man. It's like, what if we had a bunch of superheroes in a dune buggy? Dune buggies are cool, right?
Forever people.
The kids like dune buggies. That's just like the image I have of the New Gods. It's them all in this big, like 6 guys in a dune buggy, barreling over the sands of apocalypse. So that's the image. That's what Kirby wanted. That's what Kirby created. And
Forever people, yes.
Forever. Oh, yes, the Forever people, yeah. Is that what it was called?
I believe so, yes.
It wasn't called the New Gods? Okay.
Well, there was New Gods, but those the ones in the Dune buggy were like the Forever people or whatever.
Oh, the Forever people. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's all related. I don't know. This isn't my bailiwick, and I don't really want to talk about it because I want to talk about Heroes Reborn Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, yes. Because we got more details on that.
Well, I guess we got that.
Well, basically, what reality gets rewritten in the Squadron Supreme or Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yeah. Gee. We know the Squadron Supreme has a relationship with Mephisto because we know that Phil Coulson has a relationship with Mephisto. And suddenly everyone forgot about superheroes.
What are you?
This sounds familiar.
What are you doing, Mephisto?
You're making sweet, sweet love to the timeline.
Yes, you do. What fascinates me about this, and it's something that we brought up when we were talking about the King in Black story, which is this is not a new story. King in Black is not a new story. This is like the 4th time a god of darkness has encased the world in darkness and, had a crossover event.
Well, again, like I said, it always seems like it's shock value anymore. It's like, oh, who can we give a symbiote to this month? Or, who's going to get the Phoenix Force this month, Yeah,
well, I don't even think this is the first time that, the symbiotes have, taken over for a period,
No, in the 90s, all the Spider-Man annuals, they did Planet of the Symbiotes, and symbiotes invaded at least New York.
Everyone invades New York. And that's the thing, is that's the weird thing about this whole thing. It does seem to be kind of localized. It does seem to be like, oh yeah, New York, they're attacked, because that's where the superheroes are, so you attack New York. I actually think there's probably a lot of people who are like, yeah, we don't want a lot of superheroes in our town, because that's where the aliens attack. It's like, really, it makes sense that, if you are an alien, you should attack in Iowa. Establish a beachhead in Iowa and move out from there. Although that actually was the plot of a Hulk book back. I can't remember exactly when that came out, but where I think it was. I want to say it was a Python. Says, yeah, we're not going to go rob a bank in New York. We're going to do this out here in the middle of nowhere because. What's the odds a random superhero is going to show up here? And, of course, the Hulk shows up.
I don't know, man. I guess the symbiote's just like Broadway or something. I don't know.
Well, they are kind of divas.
Hey, they are sensitive. They are sensitive to sound. So
yes, but they don't like it. That's anyway.
Sound.
I'm sorry. What?
Not loud sound.
Oh, they don't like the loud sound, but they like other sounds. Okay, so it's like they like melodies. You know, yeah. They like jazz. They like smooth jazz. That's the thing. It's like on the planet of the symbiotes. That's all they listen to is smooth jazz. D D D D D D. A lot of Kenny G.
I was gonna say that's who Null is. Kenny G. Yes.
Exactly. You know that Null is Kenny G. That is the. Oh, wouldn't that be great? That's actually how they solve the whole problem. Is Kenny G comes in and just
what is this? A Teen Titans Go episode?
No, then it'd be Chuck Mangione.
No, it'd be CBR.
CBR. No, yeah. Well, the light would begin to shine, and then see. The thing is, that's too aggressive. I actually think Chuck Mangione might be the best one. I can see that. Like all the symbiotes just sort of like gather around him, like do 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 do, and they just start waving, and they just give up. Like we don't care, man. We just like this. We just want the song.
Like a Pied Piper, just with smooth jazz.
That's what I think. I think that's what we need. That would be the perfect solution. But no. So the Heroes are born, and what's interesting is it's called Heroes are Born, and within this. So let's get into some deep divey territory here. Okay. The original Heroes are Born is when Franklin creates a pocket universe to protect his friends and family when they are defeated by Onslaught, I believe. And here's my thing with Franklin. He has a really tight relationship with Mephisto. Because he freaking kicked Mephisto's butt. Like in Mephisto's realm. Like if Franklin Richards, as a 7-year-old boy, decided he was going to be king of hell, he could have done that right then. He dissipated Mephisto with his psychic blast. And that's what we get in Fantastic Four, number 28. Yep. Is the idea that Franklin's power is, he is the writer. He is the writer of reality. And that's where it's kind of interesting. Or as I like to say, Franklin Richards is a fourth wall breaking character who is real unto himself. And that's the idea. It's like he's not looking out at the fourth wall. He's just looking at reality. And he says, everything exists in the way that I perceive it. I am this universe in its own way. In that way, I am the beyond. It is this idea that he is that universal being in this universe, which, is a threat to beings like Mephisto. And so you could see Mephisto maybe pulling on some of Franklin's power, perhaps doing a reverse to create this Heroes Reborn universe where his team is the premier superheroes. And, it's not a good universe. And, of course, it's going to be your basic House of M. And this is something I said, this is like the fourth time they've done this, because that's what House of M was. It was another miniseries. I actually want to say concurrent. No, it was just before House of M, where someone with some weird golden Norse apples rewrites history, and there are no superheroes, and it's just this idea of, I think mostly they just want to do what if Tony Stark was just a drunk industrialist. Everyone likes that story, and so that's always the thing that's always the, hey, Tony Stark doesn't become Iron Man. He's just making bombs and being a scientist. That's cool, huh? But in Fantastic Four 28, we actually get the idea that... And here's the thing. This really kind of bugs me. Because they say, if you use the ultimate nullifier, it'll nullify everything, including the person wielding it. But we have repeatedly seen people nullify universes without nullifying themselves. Maybe that's because they were just nullifying the entire universe. That they themselves didn't get nullified. But we've seen Doom do this. We've seen a Reed Richards do this. we've seen people do this in different universes where they use the ultimate nullifier and are just fine after the fact. So I don't get that. But in this universe, basically, the Griever, they do go back into saying she's an esoteric concept. And like I said, she doesn't feel like an esoteric concept because she has way too much desire for an esoteric concept.
Yeah, it's like she seems like she wants to kill, and then and the whole solution reads like, I'll program the gate to send you to the end of time when the whole universe ends. Okay. Yeah,
but wouldn't that be? That's the thing. Is like, in no way does she seem like an esoteric concept.
No.
Like I said, I still believe, and this is like, if Marvel hires me to do rewrites, it's like, yeah, that person who said, like, this would be like how they wanted to depower the Beyonder, and the Beyonder wasn't the Beyonder. This is the person who I said, this is a person who clearly was never the Beyonder. And someone needs to just say, no, she was just a crazy elder of the universe who decided she was an esoteric concept.
Or do you think,
and then established herself as such?
Or do you think, I mean, she seemed to come after Franklin did his thing. Do you think maybe even on a subconscious level, maybe Franklin just like kind of created her as, this is Franklin's version of an, a esoteric character?
You know what? That is a brilliant idea, Phil, and I like it. And it would fit into the idea, especially in the idea that Franklin is afraid of his powers.
And it's a child's version of an esoteric character.
Exactly. It is, because death isn't, that's the thing, death doesn't care about killing anyone. Like, killing people doesn't make death happy. Like, but that's what Thanos thinks it is, because Thanos is an idiot. You're death, so I'll just kill lots of people and that'll make you happy, right? It's like, why would that make me happy? Why would, having me do more work make me happy? Maybe you should let everyone live forever and then I could take the day off, go have a tequila by the pool. That would be nice,
All right, you really want to get into this theory? Okay. Franklin created her on a subconscious level, maybe to control his powers, because when did he start losing these powers? So supposedly losing them when the Griever started showing up?
Exactly. And this is about the Franklin's psychological work through.
Yeah.
And of course, we get at the end of this, as the Silver Surfer is going to take all of his creations to other worlds where they can be at peace. Say, I can't wait to see what you create. There is this idea, and you get into this weird thing, I think, where Reed knows all this stuff. That's the thing, is like, Reed knows everybody's psychological problems.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say. Could that be part of the reason why he throws her offers to send her through the gate, because he knows Franklin's powers will start coming back?
Well, I think what it is he knows that because first he gives Franklin the ultimate nullifier. Mm-hmm. And that is, but Franklin can conceive of a universe without death. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And it's like, what? No, that's crazy. That's Secret Wars 2, issue 3. I don't think that's a good idea. Was that 3 or was that 4? I forget. Anyway, but, just the idea. But you also have interesting, what I like in this is the idea that when they go to everyone's, worst, how everyone dies.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting that, Ben's he's just fighting a guy, mm-hmm. or fighting a lady with swords. What's her name? Sue's, her powers get out of control. And what's interesting is Reed's is Ben turns on them and kills them all. And really, it seems much more like these are their worst nightmares, not their most likely ends.
Did Ben kill them all, or did he just kill Reed?
No, he killed them all. That's what they say.
Because I know that version of Ben was yelling about Reed did something to him, but yeah, I didn't know if he killed the other two.
Well, I think it would have had to get to him is the idea, So, and that's and it's those things that haunt them because it goes into their minds. What? No, it looks fine. Yeah. He's got a little rash on his wrist, so anyway, he's fine. Yeah, it does seem I get the idea. I actually like your idea that Franklin created the Griever, that the Griever doesn't exist, and that's why the Griever has such weirdly ill-defined powers and is so easily defeatable.
Exactly.
It's like it is a psychologically defeatable character because all of his powers are elsewhere. And maybe it was this thing where it's like, he helped to create all these universes, but, in creating these weirdly esoteric universes, it wasn't necessary. All he really needed to do was just to help the Molecule Man decentralize himself. Although maybe we'll get some of that back later. I liked the bring back Bentley and having Bentley and Dragon Man have a nice relationship, and Bentley and Valeria having some connection. That was nice. Oh, yeah. Especially in the idea that now their ages are more appropriate, because I think, although actually no, because Bentley was supposed to be like a kind of a super genius clone baby too, so maybe they were always kind of similar in ages. Maybe. Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, there was that time thing. Yeah, who knows who's.
Yeah, and of course, they were all traveling through space and time in relative dimensions, and some people aged more and some people aged less, and that's how it works in this universe. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Heroes Reborn. I want to read it. I'm intrigued because it's got the same title as a series I kind of enjoyed because I liked the idea of that pocket dimension, And
it almost kind of looks like just from some of the images they showed that maybe, I guess, Peter Parker doesn't have any powers and he's almost like Hyperion's Jimmy Olsen, maybe.
That would be cool.
Because they before they revealed the whole reveal of the Squadron Supreme, they showed him like sitting on top of the Bugle taking pictures, and all they showed was like a yellow boot flying away from him. So they're like, "Oh, who's that?" So I'm thinking it's Hyperion.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense, and that would be kind of a great way to play with the tropes, that he does still become a photographer. Because hey, ain't like Aunt May don't need money. That killer came back regardless, because literally the whole reason he's there is because Peter didn't stop him. If he didn't have any powers, then he certainly didn't stop him. So,
you know what Ray was telling me the other day? He goes, is Heroes Reborn like that Marvel's answer to Future State? I mean, it's not the future, but it's an altered time. Just
yeah. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't say it's Future State. Well, here's what I'll say. In order to answer Future State, someone's going to tell me what that Future State's supposed to be.
I don't think they know. Again, it was supposed to be the ongoing thing, but now they compressed it to like a 2-month, it's like, oh. But I don't know if these Future State characters are going to be showing up because, once again, DC, there's no continuity anymore. So it's,
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, and hey, for who knows? That's how we got Donna Troy. So
yeah. Well, that's what I told Lilith. If anything comes out of Future State, it's going to be that next, that future Batman, that next Batman, because they want their Miles Morales.
But is he Miles Morales?
No.
It's like you can't have a Miles. He's black. Isn't that what you wanted? Was a black guy? Is it? No, we wanted a teen who was struggling and had a family situation. It's like
they have a black teenager in the Bat family. They have a black adult in the Black family. I don't know why they had to create this next other guy.
Well, I just don't understand why they have to create anything other than just a interesting character.
Because again, they're struggling over there. They see Marvel's success and they're like, what can we maybe imitate and maybe,
But the thing is, well, first off, the thing is that, what Marvel imitated to have success? Themselves. So they said, oh, what made Spider-Man cool? Well, you know what? Spider-Man used to be just like a nerdy teen with, money and family problems. What if we made another nerdy teen with family and money problems? But this time he'll be black. We'll make a black one for the urban market. But that's what they did, and that's what they got, and it was popular because everyone was like, "Oh wow, that's cool," because it was the same story Stan and Steve were telling back in the '60s, But, maybe better art and better story,
Well, yeah, I mean...
It was what it was, but better.
Well, Miles Morales was created by Brian Michael Bendis. I mean, one of his better, stories, yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis can write good stories.
I told you, I like his street-level stuff. His Miles Morales, his Jessica Jones, his Daredevil. It's just when he ups that power level, the writing starts getting a little shaky.
Well, yeah, because, that's... I think, this is sort of that thing where you kind of do one thing really well and people want to let you do something else.
Yeah.
But it's not quite what you did really well. So, so like, as an example, Hickman, I thought did a great job with his Super Cosmic Avengers and all that kind of stuff. And his Fantastic Four is just chef's kiss. Mm-hmm. But, I think when he's over at the X-Men, I think it doesn't translate as easily because the problems are different. That, it's a completely different toolkit to tell a story for them than it is to tell the story for the Fantastic Four or the Avengers.
And they're not like keeping it to like one or two teams. It's like, let's what if the whole mutant race just about was all on one side and we had like another X-Book every month, and it's just like...
Yeah, I think that's the biggest flaw with it is like, at some point someone's got to say, why are we hanging out with Mr. Sinister?
And even Magneto.
Mr. Sinister, who is literally sitting there going, exactly. I'm not going to betray anyone. Let me have your genetics, please. It's like his name is Mr. Sinister.
I mean,
that just means he's left-handed. Don't read into it.
I mean, isn't that like the core thing of the X-Men? It's like, you had the good mutants, you had the evil mutants, and it's just like now it's like, oh, everyone's on the same side.
Well, see, that's the thing. But that's the thing. It's like I could get the idea of we're going to try and build bridges with our fellow mutants.
Yeah.
And I can get that, when you get into that whole...
I mean, the X-Men always wanted to do that, but it's just, I mean, it's not realistic. Name me one group of people on this planet wherever, the whole group, one country, one race of people, anything where it's like, oh yeah, everyone's on board with this same ideology. And
you can't even do that with,
you can't do that in a work environment. Come on.
Yeah, even in the real world, you will have there are differences in every community.
I've said
because they're different people. However, but that's the thing.
However you slice up humanity into ages or sex or whatever kind of group, there's always going to be a jerk in there somewhere.
Yeah. And they just decided to bring all the jerks with them. And it's like, yeah. That's the thing. It's like Magneto, you can kind of, okay, I can see Magneto doing a face turn.
Yeah. He's done it before.
Everybody doing the face turn. But then it's like, oh no one is actually doing a face turn in here. Mr. Sinister is still going to be freaking sinister. And Mr. Sinister isn't a mutant. Like, why does he get the one exception? Because like Juggernaut's like, oh yeah, man, I'm part of the X family. I guess I'm going to be going to your Krakoa thing. I'll be there. I'll be one of you guys. I'll help you out. I'll punch things when you need something punched. He's like, no, you're not a mutant, Kane. It's like, dude, I'm your brother. It's like, yeah, still not a mutant. It's like, but I got superpowers. It's like, yeah, not a mutant though. It's like, but you're like, it's like it is so stupid. But no, we're going to be really racist in this. And say no one but mutants can come to Krakoa. It's like, that doesn't even make sense. It's like, especially when you consider the idea that, well, technically all humans have the potential for the X factor and the X gene. Like that, which is like the whole big horrifying thing that Master Mold discovered. Oh my gosh, all humans are mutants. Oh no. Yeah, we're just going to ignore that. Unless your X gene is fully expressed, we don't want you.
Oh, please. It's such a mess over there. Franklin rewrote his own X gene. Oh, I guess I'm not a mutant now.
Exactly, because it's like, you know what? I don't even want to party you people. Maybe that's why. It's like, oh, man, Krakoa just looks like a mess.
He went a couple of times, and it's like, oh, because I'm not a mutant anymore.
Yeah, this place seems like a mess, so...
Oh, hey.
All my powers are fading now! Oh, no! But like I said, it's... I really think that there's, honestly, getting back to that Fantastic Four issue, I think the thing that Ben learns in that alternate future is that, yeah, Reed knew all along exactly what was going on, but he couldn't tell anyone because it wouldn't help.
Well, yeah.
Because as with any psychological problem, saying, this is your psychological problem, stop doing that, doesn't work. You know, people can't just stop being worried and in their own heads. They have to evolve to that on their own. Mm-hmm. And that is the story, that is the problem with it, you know. And that's what we're dealing with here. But anyway, let's talk about something else.
Hey, WandaVision.
Yeah. WandaVision. So have you seen the latest episode of WandaVision,
Oh,
Philip?
yes, I did.
We're outside of the Matrix.
Oh my god, and can I just say, without jumping ahead too far, Jimmy Woo and Darcy, I'm here for that buddy comedy.
Oh, yeah. First off, I am loving... Oh, Darcy's actually a competent super scientist, too.
Yes.
That's like, oh my gosh, this is what I've always... And this is this thing where, like, when you're the quirky super scientist and you're next to the actual super scientist, like the traditional super scientist, no one thinks you're smart.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're just there because you're just having fun. It's the Ben Grimm paradigm, you know. Like I always say, like Ben Grimm probably has his master's. He's probably a decent engineer. He probably is as smart as Reed Richards because Reed Richards hangs out with him. Ben Grimm follows everything Reed Richards says. He talks funny, and he wants to have a beer and go bowling, but he actually is as smart as Reed Richards on a lot of levels. But no one ever thinks that because he's always standing next to Reed Richards. But I get the feeling, have you ever had like a Thing solo series where he has to like build stuff and like, you know, use his mind? You actually say, oh, wow, you're actually supposed to be super smart, aren't you? It's like, yeah, actually, I am super smart. Just no one ever thinks that because I'm also a big dumb rock guy.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say he's as smart as Reed, but I bet you like Ben could like build his own plane or something.
Yeah, well, that's always that thing. There was a weird thing I had. It's like a story I wrote where like he has to like tell someone else because his hands don't have the fine motor skills to build something, and like so it's like, wow, you're like if he was stuck on a place with Spider-Man and he has to like explain to Spider-Man how to fix some kind of spaceship, and he's like, how do you know how to do all this? It's like, I fly these things. You don't think I know how to build them? I just can't with these hands. You know?
I mean, that should be part of the origin. It's like, yeah, he wasn't mad just because his appearance changed. You know, he used to, you know, get his hands dirty, work on all those planes and whatever else, and now he can't do that.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I always say the best scene in that first released Fantastic Four film is when he can't pick up the ring his fiancée drops.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful and beautiful because it shows what he lost. He can't do things that any human could do. He becomes so inhuman in that moment, and that has to eat at him. And when you realize that Reed knew the whole time, which honestly, it's not the first time that Ben realized that Reed knew the whole time, because after he comes back from Secret Wars, I had a theory that, the reason you couldn't was because you were afraid of Alicia. Had I known that you were thinking about breaking up with Alicia, I would have probably told you, oh yeah, that's probably why you can change back and forth now. You know, and he gets mentioned, but now I can't ever because I have killed Ben Grimm forever. And in that moment, Reed's like, no, you idiot. You didn't kill Ben Grimm forever. What are you talking about? You're talking about your mind, you moron. But it's in his mind that that's what he did, and now he has to be the Thing forever. And then, 4 more times, he'll become Ben Grimm again. And then it's like, now I must be the Thing forever.
Yeah.
It's like...
just like Incredible Hulk 300, and Banner's like, I don't want to be stuck in the Savage Hulk. I'm going to, basically kill myself, Yeah,
it's just always... so maudlin. Yeah. So maudlin, these heroes, It's like, no, dude, just get out of your head and you might be able to control the thing. Like, if you actually, went to counseling, if you actually, sat with, Doc Samson for a few hours, except Doc Samson has his own problems. You know what, honestly, is there a good psychiatrist in the Marvel Universe? They've got a lot of good lawyers.
I mean, in the 90s, she's in the 90s, Ashley Kafka at Ravencroft, she was,
yeah, but she's dead now.
No, they brought her back, I'm pretty sure, without any explanation how, but it's,
Yeah, that's never good.
I know, no.
That's never good. That's never a good sign. Hey, guess what? That death it didn't take. Good old not being dead for 5 minutes.
Oh my god! But you're getting us off track. WandaVision episode 4. Holy crap.
WandaVision episode 4. So, no commercial this issue,
except the one we've already seen. Yeah.
Yeah. The Strucker Watch commercial. But.
Oh, but it opens up. We see Monica. She got snapped during.
She comes back from the blip, which is neat because you actually get what that was like for everybody.
Oh yeah,
and just the idea that And one of the things I liked about that was that it doesn't show like people falling out of space or that no one is like materializing halfway inside someone else, which you think might have happened, except for the fact that
it's pretty much wasn't it? Oh yeah, you're gonna bring back with Stark. Tony Stark was just like, yeah, make sure when he told the Hulk, bring everything back exactly the way it was. So no one was halfway through the floor before they got snapped. So if they were standing on the top of the floor, they were back on top of the floor.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is someone else could have been standing in that spot.
Oh, true.
So really, the fact that no one does that is kind of telling that actually
because she just knocks that one guy over when he comes back.
No, because people are coming in and people are getting knocked over because that's a minor issue. Yeah. That's a minor, maybe you break your hip and you die like 6 days later, but that's a totally unrelated thing. But of course, as people point out, but all the people that were on the plane when the pilot disappeared probably died. It's like, they're dead. You can't bring those guys back. But the people that got snapped off the plane, they're fine because they're not going to show up in the sky because, as anyone will point out, that actually the planet is in a completely different spot in space than it was at that time. So really, you'd have people appearing in the middle of space if they came back exactly where they were when they were left.
Yeah, but I wonder, so, like, if someone was in the middle of a heart attack when they got snapped, when they come back, would they still be in the middle of that heart attack?
Probably. I mean, unless they got better, that's the thing. Yeah, there were probably a lot of people that were, essentially, there were probably a lot of people that were on, machines to keep them alive that just came back dead.
Yeah, the machine wasn't there, but they came back alive, but they died pretty quick. The machine wasn't there. But yeah,
exactly, which is why all the doctors are running around because it's like, oh wow, we've got like twice as many patients as we had yesterday.
A bunch of dying people, yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of dying people are coming back. What the heck?
Well, yeah, and then sad. Yeah, Monica comes back and she's like, my mother's surgery. You said it was fine, and the doctor's like, no, she died like 2 years. Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah, because the cancer came back 3 years ago.
Yes.
That was the idea, is that it was 5. Now, here's the thing I want to say, because I have been into the idea that the hand we see in the first episode was actually
Darcy.
Well, no. I said it was Emma. This is on my podcast. We see that here it's Darcy, but I don't know. I want to go back. I want to compare those scenes. Because one thing I notice about it is, like, when you see Darcy, her shirt clearly has a white plaid stripe through it.
I mean, unless it was somebody else, because I mean, they were taking shifts. I mean, she wasn't there 24 hours a day. It could have just been.
Well, no, but when they cut back, you see that same hand with the black sleeve, and what Darcy's wearing isn't a full black sleeve; it's a black and gray plaid weave, and so it's a little weird to me. And it's one of these things where I wonder if they're giving us another cut of something. Of someone else watching something, that's the thing. It doesn't look like what Darcy was doing before then, right down to her suddenly writing a note,
Or maybe there's someone in that command center who, if they're not manipulating Wanda, they're like, how can we use her to our advantage? Like, could there be Hydra in there somewhere? Or?
Yeah. Well, and also, it's also interesting about what the timeline is here, because clearly time is flowing differently. And I get the feeling there are repeats in the timeline. Because there's only been 2 episodes. There's only been really 1 episode by the time that Geraldine goes, by the time they see Geraldine. So really, it seems like there is a lot going on here that maybe what we see is edited or what have you, but there's a lot more time passing on the outside than the inside.
Maybe.
Because it seems like there's a long time between when the guy in the yellow hazmat suit goes into the sewer and when he comes out as a beekeeper.
Yes.
I found that very interesting. That he is in a yellow hazmat suit. He comes out as a beekeeper, surrounded by bees too, no less. And you also see, this is one of my favorite things, is when Jimmy Woo is writing on the board and it's like, why hexagons?
Yes. Hex.
No. Yeah. Hex powers, hexagons. Hex means 6. 666, number of the beast.
Oh.
616, that's the universe we're in. That's the actual number of the beast.
Oh, but did you notice? I love when Monica met Jimmy Woo, man. He did his magic, man. He flipped that card up. Yeah. He's like,
close-up magic. That's what he does.
He's been studying. Yes.
You know what I love about that?
Huh.
My favorite doctor, Sylvester, he did that too. He always remember having this little calling card with a question mark on it, because Sylvester really leaned into the question mark logo for Doctor Who. He understood he was a mystery. He was willing to play into it. But, Jimmy Woo, I am waiting for a big reveal about Jimmy Woo, because that's the thing about Jimmy Woo. In our current universe, because we know they're doing Shang-Chi, because we know the 10 rings are out there.
Yes.
I am waiting for that big reveal for Jimmy Woo to be like, oh, no. I'm the new Phil Coulson. You thought I was a dundering fool this whole time? No, I actually am part of a deeper, more complex state that you don't even know about. Jimmy Woo, FBI agent, is my cover.
Either that, or after this series, he gets a promotion.
Yeah, but no, because he's in charge of Atlas, because he too is I forget, the yellow. Because Yellow Claw isn't Fu Manchu, but is another thing, and he does wind up being like the son of Yellow Claw too. It gets weird,
So what's with all this background radiation? Is this Wanda tapping into the universe, or is this how we're going to?
Well, yeah. Now here's an interesting question: Who was in witness protection? Because
they never said.
They don't mention that.
Yeah, no,
and he intentionally doesn't mention it. Mm-hmm. Which says, which again goes into this idea, is Jimmy Woo hiding something because he knows more than he wants to tell Sword? Mm. Which is why him and Darcy might get along great, because they both know things deeper than these people. And he is entering into this where there was someone in witness protection who disappeared. But the problem is that the entire town disappeared.
Nobody remembers it, yeah.
Yeah, except, of course, we can see it says Westview there, and the cop there says, I'm from Eastview. Now, what's weird is that the cops clearly can pass back and forth, because you can see because the cop's car is parked directly towards the Westview bubble. But, so why can they pass through? And that's sort of the thing. Why, when they say, why are you and I not affected by it?
Because we're not from here, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think there's a lot more that's going to be revealed. And whether or not Wanda really is in control is the question. But I think the big question is going to be who was in witness protection. Was Wanda in witness protection? I don't think so, because he makes the point.
I thought he said he, I thought.
Did he say he?
I wasn't sure, I thought, but unless I just...
Yeah, I mean, I have to go back, but, although one thing we can see is that apparently Herb is not Herb Wyndham.
No.
Because they do track back who everyone is. Who they conspicuously do not identify is Agnes.
Yes.
So I do, and this is where I'm getting into it, I think Agnes was the one in protection.
Oh, maybe.
And I think Wanda, because he's surprised to see Wanda there too. And I think if it was Wanda, he would have been, yes, Wanda was the person that we were protecting, and so that makes sense. That it is, but I think if it's Agnes, he might be holding that back because why she's in protection isn't need to know for sword.
Well, I was going to say too, why Westview? Why, if even if it is Wanda, why in Westview? Unless maybe either whether she knows about Agnes's power, if she is Agatha, or on an unconscious level.
Well, I would imagine that the idea is that let us say the person in protective custody is Agnes, is Agatha. Then it becomes this idea of Wanda seeking out Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda seeks out Agatha using her powers because I need someone who can help me understand all this. And when she comes to her, Agnes unlocks things, and that's what creates this universe. Because she's going to teach her about hex powers.
Maybe she needs help with her powers to resurrect the Vision. Because I was going to say maybe just right now her powers can't bring Vision back because he was linked to the Mind Stone.
Because he dead is the thing.
Oh yeah, we see that at the end. Yeah,
yeah, we see that and we see reality coming into it. Although I mean, that was the creepiest thing. That is the creepiest thing I think I've ever seen in TV is when Vision is all the color has left him and he's just the corpse, but he's still talking.
Yeah,
that is disturbing. That is freaking disturbing. But yeah, it's neat. But again, that no one is going to call out Strucker in that moment.
I know that's when they were watching the feed from the show,
mm-hmm.
and one of the Hydra commercials came on. I was like, no one's questioning why there's a Hydra commercial in there.
Exactly. This is why I think it's these kind of things where, and that's the thing, that Jimmy Woo is the one doing the nerd board, which I love because you know that's every nerd in America. Why are there hexes? Why are there these? Why are there that? Who is this person? All these things, all these nerd questions, and that's their little meta commentary. But I get the feeling the reason he's doing it is because he does want to steer the conversation towards what he wants it to be. He doesn't want people asking this other question that he's not asking. He wants you to worry, why are all the hexagons, man?
He's the one trying to contact Wanda. He's not. Nobody else is trying to contact Wanda.
Yeah, well, that is true. Although that's because, Darcy figures out how.
Yeah. But but I'm just saying, he doesn't want, if there is information he doesn't want to get out, he wants to be the one to talk to her.
Mm-hmm. But I get that's the thing. I wonder if he is basically he plays the fool to lull people into this false sense. So they reveal more than that he wants, and he gets to manipulate them towards what he wants because, it's sort of Darcy says, "Do you want one?" And he's like, "Oh, kids, maybe, oh, you mean a chip?" But I also think that that leads into the next set of scenes where I think that he kind of steers Darcy to what he wants, And I think the whole thing with reaching out on the radio is Darcy making the connections, but also establishing that trust with Jimmy is what makes him be the one to make the contact. That's the thing. Is I think that, like I said, I think Jimmy's more on the ball than you think. It's sort of this.
So you're saying he wants to fool everyone or create the illusion he's a buffoon?
Yes, exactly. Well, it's classic Columbo. Columbo would, in his rumpled raincoat, he wants you to think. And for what it's worth, that close-up magic, that's intentionally to make you think he's a buffoon.
And he's taking the close-up magic to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Close-up magic of, freaking all it made the whole city disappear.
Yeah, watch the TV show. Don't look for a deeper meaning behind it.
Yeah. Along those lines about things that come in at the last minute and go, what happened? I liked Shang-Chi. I think this is the last. That's where it's everything seems to be a last issue for me. Werewolf by Night seems to be the last issue. Shang-Chi has another series coming out next week called Legends of Shang-Chi.
Is it number 5?
This is Shang-Chi number 5.
That seems to be their magic number. That does seem to be their magic number now. If it's not a really big ongoing, and they usually give them 5 now. It seems like.
Yeah, but this also has a power of friendship kind of moment where it's that psychological issue where he has to connect with his sister to reject the curse of their father. Although then we see at the end that, Fu Manchu is still alive and all that kind of stuff as much as he wants to. And they actually even give us an end credit scene, because after you turn that last page, you get this last thing with Zhengzhou is how they call Fu Manchu now, Shang-Chi's father. But it's interesting. But one thing I liked in this is that, when he's breaking up with this, or not breaking up even, didn't even go on a date with the girl. He's like, listen, I am, I live this crazy wild life and all these kind of things. And she says, yeah, my client today in court had his head burst into flames. I specialize in superhuman law, so please don't condescend to me. You know that you live in a world where this is just commonplace. Like, oh yeah, I know the ninjas broke in. Okay, it must have been Wednesday. So I like that. But that's the thing. It's like when you're living in a completely superhuman world, there's going to be people and things that this becomes commonplace for. And so, in that sense, the fact that Jimmy Woo is the guy who doesn't freak out, reaches out to Sword, gets, people to play with him, I think there's a lot in that. And then his intentional digressions very much remind me of when Columbo would go on a digression. Every so often, Columbo would talk about, oh, my nephew and, my sister does, just to get people off guard. And I think when he answers people with like some kind of a weird answer, I think that's that same idea. He's trying to play that buffoon to set people off guard. So yeah, I there's more coming with Jimmy Woo is what I'm going to tell you right now. I got two other books right here. I got Werewolf by Night, number 4, which again seems to be the last one. All plot lines being equal, they defeat the baddie. There is basically a detention center for unruly powered youths, which I like that they're utilizing in this as a conceit, but that our werewolf gets to stay with his family because the doctor who's in charge of it, who actually cares about his charges, which is weird. That's who people should be talking to. I forget his name now, but they even call him out, Dr. Brick. Dr. Brick seems to be a psychiatrist who actually takes care of his patients. So maybe people should go see Dr. Brick in the Marvel Universe, and maybe he can help them. But yeah, so that's cool. They set up a neat little possible future story, but I think that's the end. It was nice seeing Red Wolf again. I love Red Wolf as a character. Again, time displaced in the Marvel Universe. Conan the Barbarian, number 18. He's got a sword that makes him want to kill people. He kills a lot of people. The sword tries to say, finally I have someone worthy, because the sword eats souls. He breaks free of it, drops the sword, but then he's captured by other people because he just basically went on a murder rampage. So, but not one that he wanted to go on. Oh, but he's going to see some kind of emperor of something or another, so that'll be fun. And finally, we only find them when they're dead, number 5. This is a really good book. I really like it. It is beautifully drawn. It is well written. And we do get sort of the big reveal in this episode about like what has been causing the tension between our protagonist and our antagonist. And it turns out that essentially it's the system screwing people over, and the people being screwed over thought they might get one up on the cop and get them to work with them so they could do black market stuff. That failed horribly. Everyone died. And the guy who feigned sick so his brother, who was dating the cop, would have to go on the job at the time, feels guilt. But basically you get a lot of resolution to things. It's really good. And what is really exciting is at the very end, because they accidentally kill an elder god, but then all the other gods show up So once again, we meet the live gods. And so where that leads could be interesting if there is a we only find them when they're dead number 6. And that's all my books. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Philip?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Philip, I love talking to you. I love listening to you. But sometimes, those dollar store headphones I buy, they're not as good as they could be. And I really think what I need to do is I need to break down and buy tweaked audio headsets by going to tweakedaudio.com. And the good news is I can use the coupon code Southgate at checkout, and they will give me a discount on them. So I don't know why I haven't done that already. I really should do that, but, I'm lazy. But likewise, other things that I could do since I'm lazy is rather than going out to an escape room, I could just have an escape room delivered to my home. I can go to hunterkiller.com, use that same coupon code to get a discount on checkout, and have a bunch of great clues and mysteries delivered to my home that I would then have to solve to help Michelle Grace solve a cold case, which would be a lot of fun, I think. After that, Valentine's Day is coming up, so I should get my wife something lovely. And one way I could do that is I could go down to our show notes, click on the link for Amazon.com, go to Amazon.com, and buy her stuff, because they have lots of stuff there. Pretty much everything my wife might want is there. And then some more things that she probably doesn't want, but I might buy for myself. So that's a thing I could do, including one of the things I might buy for myself is Pod Live the book. If you don't know, folks, that's a book written by the podcasters here at the Southgate Media Group about why they podcast, about how they podcast, about what podcasting is.
Oh, I know.
And it's available right now, both in paperback and as a digital download. So that's pretty interesting, I think, Philip.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
But if anyone does any of that, or even if they don't, and they just want to talk to us, Philip, how could they reach you?
The easiest way to reach any of us is to email capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can find all our social media and everything. Links to our YouTube channel at linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
And, of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Maz and Paz wants to do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter, because you know what I'm going to be live tweeting, if I can remember to?
Batwoman.
On Sunday nights? Batwoman. A fantastic show from the DC Universe. Their comic books, maybe not so much. A lot of their shows getting a little weak. Movies, we're not even going to talk about, but that Batwoman... she's a woman I can get behind. And, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's right there in the middle. You know why?
For quality. Bing!
That's right, Maz. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Superconnectivity. I hope you have connected in your own personal way to us, like a symbiote to its host. And if not, we can try again next week when you can super connect with us again. Good night.
Connect to like one of those old TVs that's not flat.
That was good. I don't know why that would matter.
Just the connection, I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess she's looking for an analog frequency, but you can translate an analog frequency into a digital download. So, I mean...
no time.
There's always time, Philip.